Hey everybody, Shawl360 here, and as you can see, today's video is a little bit different than my normal videos. First of all, there's food. That's always great. But for anybody who is watching Key's new series, Key Know How, you probably recognize both of the dishes in front of us. First, this is Key's salmon, the way that he made it. And it looks greasy, but it's not. It's actually the salad dressing. It makes it kind of look a little bit shiny. And then we've got the infamous grape and cheese platter along with our miniature bottle of wine. I went with the Moscato because I felt like that went better with the fish. But we're here to talk about Shinee's Odd album, so I thought I'd do something a little different and do kind of an odd review of it. Okay, so to start, it has taken me weeks to do this video, and I apologize for anybody who normally watches my videos. I don't normally take that long to review something for Shinee, but the reason it took so long is because I've just really wanted to enjoy this comeback. We waited a long time for Shinee's comeback. I think their last comeback was 2013's Everybody. I don't know why I say I think when I know. But that was their last OT5 comeback in Korea. Since then, they've done Japanese stuff and there's been solo stuff, but OT5 just really has been missing. So I was really excited about this comeback. I kind of felt bad, though, that they announced it on the exact same day that BoA's comeback started. That was kind of shady on SM's part. And then, like, right at the beginning of their comeback cycle for Shinee, they announced the EXO repackage. And of course, that kind of swallowed any momentum that Shinee had, which was still kind of being swallowed anyway by the fact that Big Bang was coming back after several years hiatus. So overall, Shinee just kind of got the short end of the stick. But that didn't mean I wasn't going to support it. Of course I'm going to support it. Those are my babies. So I actually bought 2 copies of each version. I bought 2 copies of version A and 2 copies of version B. And I bought them because I wanted the sales to go up higher, not necessarily because I need 2 copies of each. But I did get some awesome photo cards. I got Key's card for version A. And I got my bias, Minho, for version A. For version B, I got Key's super cute card with the braces. Let's see if I can close up to that. Look at him. Isn't he adorable? And then I got Taemin's card for version B, which I really didn't want Taemin's card, but what can you do? I mean, it's a chance you take when you're pulling cards from albums. But I was able to purchase Minho's card, and can I say that Minho's card is giving me all the life in the world. That come hither gaze, those abs flashing. He's basically saying, come and rape me. And while rape is an ugly, ugly term, he wants me to do something nasty with his body, and I'm prepared to do it. So yeah, I was pretty happy overall with kind of the cards that were available. I was happy with the fact that there were 2 versions, even though I don't know why there were 2 versions of this one and not 2 versions of the Misconceptions albums. But that's neither here nor there, because it just, that time has passed and there's really nothing to talk about. But there's always been 2 versions of Shinee's albums. There were 2 versions of Shinee World. There were 2 versions of Lucifer. Misconceptions of Us was really the only one that there weren't 2 versions. So it's kind of confusing. But yeah, in terms of the way that it was done in keeping with Shinee tradition, I got that. Probably the thing that was the hardest part for me for this comeback was the packaging. I was not happy with the slipcover jewel case booklet setup. I wasn't happy with the fact that they put clowns on it, because while I'm not afraid of clowns, I know a lot of you out there are, and that really sucks because it kept a lot of people from wanting to buy these albums. And even if you didn't want to buy this one with the big clown face on it, a lot of people still didn't want to get this version with the small clown face on it. And once you open this one, there's big clown faces all the way through this version. So it's not like you could really escape the clowns. So I don't understand why SM chose that. I also don't understand why SM's promotion of this album was so lopsided. There were some stages, which I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy the costuming for said stages because Onu looked homeless most of the time. I didn't appreciate that. But, I mean, they still gave their all. The choreography was on point. The vocals were there. I mean, they just really did do everything they could to try to deliver on these stages. And I was especially happy with the Goodbye stage. They did Odd Eye, which is my favorite song on the entire album. So, yes, I was very, very happy with the stages. But one thing I was really disappointed on was the fact that this album is probably one of the most uneven Shinee albums ever. First of all, I would talk about the track list, but the track list is not listed anywhere on the album except for the lyrics booklet. So, sorry about that, guys. But this album was a good album. Like, from any other group, it would be good. Because it's from Shinee and their vocals are always there, it's a great album. But there was one song on there that just ruined the rest of the album for me. And then there were two songs that I really feel like if they were approached a different way, they would have enriched the album. But because of the way they were kind of made, they ruined the album. So the song that probably was the biggest problem for me was Wolf Wolf. First of all, the English on Wolf Wolf is a disaster. It is some of the worst English I've ever heard in a K-pop song. There is a part where Key says, "This is real brass or my mouth," and he says it in such a leering, kind of like, I don't know, just greasy way that it really puts you off on that particular phrase. And there's just a lot of nonsense English. It's got kind of a 1920s Charleston era sound to it. It doesn't match anything else that's on the album. It literally is like filler material that they picked up from a failed project for some other group and said, "Here, Shinee, do what you can with this because we need more songs on the album." And I was really disappointed about that. Trigger and Alive are two songs a lot of people really don't like. I like the songs enough, but I really feel like somebody did a SM style mashup on them, and they took the chorus from Trigger, put it onto Alive, and took the chorus from Alive, and they smashed it into Trigger. And I really feel like if those two songs, if you were to switch those choruses, they would be brilliant. Like, they would work out really well. And then Encore, while I respect what Encore is, like, you know, when a concert's over and you need that kind of wind down time where people can throw roses and panties and tell Shinee how much they love him, it works better in a concert setting than on a CD setting. So it really didn't work out very well for this album. But overall, I was just glad to get OT5. For those of us who have been Shawols for a while, you know, 2014 was a really scary year because Onu had all of his throat issues, and a lot of us were afraid that if the surgeries didn't go right, we may never hear Onu's voice again. And imagining a Shinee without Onu's voice was impossible for me. Like, I just could not imagine that. And watching the comeback they did in Japan for the I'm Your Boy promotions and Onu not being able to speak a word throughout the promotions, I was really, really saddened. I didn't talk about it a lot on videos, but it broke my heart. And then with this comeback, I was glad to hear his voice, and he seemed like he was in it, but when I watched those goodbye stages for Odd Eye, Onu looks tired. He looks super, super tired. And given kind of the lackluster promotion that SM has done for this album, I'm really worried that we might be at the end of the road with Shinee. And I know that's probably not something I should say as a fan, and it probably sounds like I don't have faith in the group, but it's not that I have lack of faith in the group, it's my lack of faith with SM. SM, much like YG, it's a big company, and a lot of the things they do are to maximize dollars, and I can understand why they would want to promote EXO's repackage quickly because EXO is their biggest selling act. They have the most CF stuff, like, you know, commercials and things like that. They are just big, huge money-making vehicles for SM. And I'm not saying that the singers in EXO aren't talented. I'm not saying that EXO doesn't deserve their success. What I'm saying is that SM engineered EXO to be the way that they are as a marketing device. There's actually, in my opinion, no group, Shinee included, that's on SM that isn't there to be a marketing device. Yes, the music is important because it's SM record label, but also it's SM management. It's called Star Museum. It's Star Museum because basically these are no longer people. It's just like in a museum. They're objects. There's something for you to observe, something for you to study, something for you to make commentary on, but it becomes something outside of what it is, and it becomes something else. It becomes kind of almost untouchable, and I think that's what SM is doing. Every single group that's on SM kind of has to have a turnaround. Like, everybody needs to be doing music on top of musicals, or music on top of television shows, music on top of variety, music on top of hosting. And I think Shinee probably, FX being maybe the most, but Shinee probably is next in line. They're probably the group that has like the least extra money for SM. You know, they did Etude House for a long time, and they've done Baskin Robbins, which I think all of SM is doing Baskin Robbins, honestly. And they've done a few other CFs here and there for beer and whatnot. But I don't think that they pull in the same kind of extra money that Super Junior does. Definitely not what Girls' Generation does, and not what EXO does. And probably FX is the only one that probably pulls in less of that extra money than Shinee does. And so I think that SM really could give a damn. I mean, I think they feel in some points an obligation to Shinee just because of how extremely loyal Shinee has been, and how in the eye of every storm, Shinee has always kind of been an anchor. Like, they're the only group that there's been no threats of breakups. There hasn't been huge controversy except for Onu supposedly going on a date and smoking an e-cigarette. And then, of course, you know, Jongin back when he was dating Sekyun, and everybody being like, oh, I can't believe you're dating a girl. But yeah, for the most part, Shinee has been extremely, extremely reliable. Like, they have been that anchor for SM. So while SM can't totally just discount Shinee and not promote them, at the same time, I don't feel like SM's heart is in it anymore. And I really wish it was, because Shinee has so much to offer. Shinee is not through. People forget. Shinee is the same age as EXO. Onu is older than EXO, but the rest of Shinee kind of like falls in the same age range as EXO. They're not old men. They're young. I mean, Taemin was 22. Well, I think he just turned 23. But he's young. He's really, really young. They're young guys. And I really wish that SM could look at them fairly and maybe come up with a different plan for them. If what you've been doing in the past hasn't garnered a lot of results, switch things up a bit. You know, maybe pimp out Jongin's writing ability and use that to kind of boost the profile on Shinee. Maybe instead of trying to make Minho the one who's in all of the K-dramas, make it Onu, because Onu does a great job with acting. You know, maybe push Key out of musicals and push him more into variety. I think Key could do it. You know, they've got him hosting finally, so that's a step in the right direction. But I really wish that SM would give Shinee another chance, because they deserve it. They really, really deserve it. And I mean, at this point, shows will always be there for them. I think other K fandoms have been there for Shinee, and for every person who's not a show and bought a copy of Odd, despite the horrifying images contained therein, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank everyone for the support they've had of Shinee, but I'm beginning to think that even our support is starting to not be enough. And I can only pray and hope that Shinee will either find a place in SM that they'll be protected and they'll continue to be able to make music, and maybe something will spark a resurgence for them, or if worst came to worst and they actually left SM, I would hope that some other company would give them a home, because Shinee's important. They're important to K-pop. They're important to me. They're important to SM's legacy. They're just important, you know, and they're a group that has lots of unseen, untapped potential, and a company that would waste that potential is a fool. But I don't think anybody accuses SM of being the smartest company ever. So, yeah, this is my review, and it's taken me a long time to do it, but I had a lot of thoughts that I had to kind of get in order before I could talk about this, because if I had done this review when I first got these CDs, it would have been a rant. And later on, I would have hated myself for having that rant because of how much I love this group. So yeah, this came at the timing. It had to come in because I had to work through all of my thoughts, because honestly, nobody, even if you're my bias group, nobody escapes this rant if I got it for you. If I got it for you, you're gonna get it. But I think I'm at a calmer place now. I'm getting some good food. I think we'll be all right. And then my last thing I want to say is congratulations to every single person who watches my videos who just completed a year of school. Graduation season just ended. Some of you are getting ready to go to college. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you for completing another year of your education. I'm so proud of you for getting ready to take that next step in life. And I encourage you to stay healthy. Stay eager to learn, and most of all, stay dreaming. You're at a point in life where people are expecting you to be the grown-up and to make these final decisions, and it's scary to think that the next thing you do is going to impact the rest of your future. But I can tell you this, as a grown-up, you've got time. Don't sweat the small stuff. You've got time. I promise you. So just hang in there and just know that I'm rooting for you. your families are rooting for you, the rest of the world is rooting for you, and especially if you watch my videos, I feel like you're an open-minded person, and I feel like the things that you do in the future can possibly change the world. So I can't wait to see what you're capable of. I'll talk to you all later. Bye!